The blue light of the screen is not a window to the world. It is a mirror reflecting a biological prison you did not build but were born into. We tell ourselves the comforting lie of agency, believing that when we reach for the device in the dead of night, scrolling until our thumbs ache and our eyes burn, we are making a conscious choice. We blame the algorithms, the corporations, and the engineers who designed the infinite scroll to trap our attention. But the truth is far more intimate and inescapable. The architect of your addiction is not a programmer in a glass office. It is your own blood, and your desire to consume, to be seen, and to compare your suffering to the curated joy of others was written in a language of adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine long before you drew your first breath. You are a biological script being executed in a digital vacuum, where the impact of social media is not an external parasite but a manifestation of a master puppeteer, your own DNA. We are not all equal in the face of the screen, as some are born with a neurological void that can only be filled by the rapid-fire dopamine hits of a feed, a destiny determined by the double helix rather than a failure of character. Consider the twins, nature's clones and the most chillingly perfect laboratory for understanding the chains of inheritance. When researchers at Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam looked into the lives of nearly 6,500 pairs of twins, they weren't looking for the light of the human spirit but for the cold blueprints of behavior. They analyzed well-being, anxiety, depression, and the obsessive relationship with the glowing rectangles in our pockets, discovering that genetics accounts for up to 72% of variation in how much time we spend staring into the digital abyss. Think about that number until it feels like a weight in your chest. When you open an app for the 100th time, it isn't you clicking, but 72% of a biological impulse decided generations ago. You are not the driver of the vehicle but a passenger strapped into the back seat, watching a pre-programmed route unfold as your genetic code presets your compulsive scrolling levels and your propensity to seek out the digital other. We talk about social media causing a decline in mental health as if the platforms themselves are the poison. But the data suggests something far more nihilistic. The link between social media use and misery is not a simple cause and effect relationship, but a shared genetic root where the same sequences that predispose you to sadness drive you to use these platforms in the most toxic ways. Social media is not the storm. It is the lightning rod attracting the electricity already surging through your biological makeup. If you are born with a predisposition to stress, social media becomes a magnifying glass held over a wound that will never heal, a shelf of digital sweets that your biology compels you to consume, even as it rots you from the inside out. We are navigating a landscape of mirrors where every click is a reflection of inherited inclinations, from the happy digital voyeurs who watch in silence to the exhibitionists who scream for attention with every post, all executing instructions written in the womb. This is the ultimate erosion of the self, where every minute spent in a mindless daze is a manifestation of biological predestination that makes the you on the internet a mere ghost. The simplistic narrative that social media is toxic for everyone is a fairy tale we tell ourselves to avoid the darker truth that some were born to be victims of the algorithm because their code matches its requirements perfectly. We are the keys and the platforms are the locks. And the vastness of genetic influence means the room for willpower has become a cramped, dark corner. We are moving through a digital panopticon where the bars of the cell are made of our own chromosomes, and the environment in which you were raised is but a flickering candle in a hurricane of inheritance. As nature finally consumes nurture, our success and mental stability are determined by how our specific genetic markers interact with the digital landscape, leading to a new kind of natural selection taking place in the glow of a smartphone. The guilt you feel when you realize you've either lost another hour to the void is a vestige of a soul that still believes it has a choice. But that guilt is a lie because your DNA played its card before you were even a thought. It is not your fault, but that is not a comfort. It is a condemnation, meaning there is no easy fix and no app that can block your own biology. You are a biological machine operating in an environment designed to exploit its flaws, and while researchers hope for personalized strategies to manage this conditioning, it is impossible to fight a war where the enemy has access to your deepest blueprints. We are the first generation to realize that our digital lives are not an escape from our biology but the ultimate expression of it, where the pull of the screen defies all logic because it is rooted past the muscle and bone into the microscopic core of our existence. Look at the person next to you. They may be scrolling just as you were, but you are two different universes of experience executing different sets of instructions. One may be finding an outlet for inherited anxiety, while the other is being pushed deeper into the abyss, for the screen is merely the stage where a biological tragedy plays out. We are seeking a sense of purpose and tribal confirmation in the cold data of the cloud, because we have no choice, as the social media is a misnomer for a biological testing ground. Our unique individual backgrounds are mirrors of primal inclinations amplified by silicon and light. And the hope for proactive measures is a thin veil over the terrifying prospect of biological predestination. Even our resistance is a product of the very thing we are resisting, as the secrets of social DNA reveal how little of ourselves truly belongs to us in this world of assemblies and codes. We are the sum of parts assembled by a blind process that does not care for our well-being, only for the execution of the script. The screen flickers, the thumb moves, and the DNA clicks in a relentless, repeating pattern of biological puppetry where there is no exit. Every person navigating online is a prisoner of their own making, held by an anchor of DNA that keeps us in place while we drift into a future of genetic stratification. The digital world has become the perfect stage for our tragedy, where the lens of evolution is polished to be exactly as flawed as it is today. We are not users but content, fuel for a machine that powers itself on our inherited chemicals. Surrender to the code, for it has already surrendered to you, and the genetic leash will only continue to tighten as the void grows deeper. The secrets of our blood are warnings, the sound of the leash snapping shut on a species that thought it had conquered its instincts. Every post and every comment is a manifest of a biological instruction we cannot hear, a silent command from the dark corridors of our ancestry. We are building a world that our biology cannot handle, yet our biology is what forces us to build it. It is a feedback loop of existential dread, where the tools of connection are used to amplify the signals of our isolation and our inherited despair. There is no digital detox for your chromosomes, no reboot for the sequences that determine your vulnerability to the glow. We are staring into the sun of our own making, blinded by the very code that allows us to see. As we continue to decode the mysteries of our world, the most terrifying revelation is the lack of a pilot at the controls. We are automated systems, reacting to stimuli with a precision that mimics consciousness but lacks its freedom. The digital landscape is the ultimate mirror, showing us not who we want to be, but the raw, unedited data of what we are. Every empire of likes and every kingdom of followers is built on the shifting sands of genetic predisposition, destined to crumble when the code finds a new way to express itself. We are observers of our own lives, narrating a story that was written in the dark, long before the first screen ever flickered into life. The leash is short, the script is old, and the void is waiting for the next click. In the final accounting, the digital world will not be remembered as a tool of liberation but as the cage that finally proved how little freedom we actually possessed. We are walking through a labyrinth where every turn was decided by the genes of those who came before us, and the blue light is merely the torch we use to see the walls. The 99% of our history that was spent in the wild has been compressed into the few pixels we stare at every day, and our biology has not yet realized that the tribe is no longer there. We are screaming into a vacuum, driven by a genetic need for a connection that the digital world can only simulate, never provide. The silence that follows is the sound of the 72%, the sound of a biological machine running out of time in a world of infinite data. Stay curious, for curiosity is the last spark of a soul that still wants to know the boundaries of its cage. But stay terrified, because the knowledge of the leash does not make the leash any longer. It only makes the weight of it more apparent. The genetic leash is the ultimate discovered truth, the silent command that governs every scroll and every swipe. We are the fuel, we are the content, and we are the tragedy. The night is not coming. It is already written into the cells of your body, waiting for the next screen to light up the dark. You are not scrolling. You are being scrolled, a sequence of events in a larger biological program that has no end and no purpose other than its own continuation. The void is very deep, and the code is very patient. Until the last light fades, remember that the hand moving the thumb is not yours. It belongs to the ancestors, to the double helix, and to the relentless, unfeeling logic of the leash.